Welcome to Work the Left Side. I am hyper hyped to announce tonight's guest. I've been going off to the movies a lot recently, but no film that we've ever talked about compares to the box office. That is the guest we have tonight. I am joined by the one, the only, the box office himself, Mr. Blackmore. Sir, dude, how are you? So calling you sir, so I've got to.
Mate, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. I don't know if I said it to you. I definitely said it to Ian. But when the Noah episode went out, I was texting Noah in our group chat. I was like, "Oh, I'd love to be on that podcast." And then I think literally 5 minutes later, you sent me the message, and we were like, "Great, we're there."
There you go. Great minds think alike, you see. But obviously, we're talking about the Noah episode. You came up in conversation during the Arlo episode as well, kind of thing. So you obviously, and everything you've been doing, with Sammy and seeing the reels. Again, I always keep a close eye on Pursuit. I try not to show any bias. I try not to, put anybody on a pedestal kind of thing. But PPW are... Work the Left Side is kind of a house that Pursuit helped build without their knowledge, probably because of the amount of people that I've spoken to from there, and the amount that they've probably shared my stuff because of the people that I've had on. So yeah, always keep an eye on Pursuit, and it's kind of like you guys are the next wave. You're the next class of awesomeness. You the guys like Noah, Arlo. I've got a Sledge messaged me the other day. He's coming on soon. All those guys. It's just So you've been on my radar for a long time. I was always kind of like, I always like to interact with people a little bit before I ask them on. But I was just kind of like, you know what? I know Mr. Baker's talked to you a few times. He's kind of always
spoke to him yesterday as well, Blackheart.
There we go. So I was like, I may not have spoken to you directly, but Mr. Baker has, and that's good enough for me. So I'll reach out and I'll drop you a message. So yeah, here we are.
Right. What better time to have a first conversation live?
Exactly, that's it. You see, no pressure. First time we've ever talked, but it'll be a good time, dude. We're just going to talk wrestling for an hour, so what's not to love? But yeah, obviously, like I said, you mentioned Mr. Baker, you mentioned Blackheart there. Dude, I'll get the generic question out of the way because that's going to lead into a lot of the other sort of stuff, that I want to talk about, and how you kind of discovered doing this or even thought about doing, this, that, and the other. So yeah, let's get the generic one out of the way, and then we can just have a good old chit chat. Obviously, wrestling, man. What made you take those steps through the? Was Pursuit the first school, or you've been elsewhere? Have you kind of ventured around?
I've been a lot of places. So I first got into wrestling when I played the SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 game that my cousin gifted to me on the PS2. And I thought it didn't exist. And then my dad was like, do you know it's real? Do you know it's like on TV? And then the first match I watched, my other cousin burned the WrestleMania 26 onto a dodgy DVD for me. Sorry, Vince. And it was like when DVD still didn't really play in order. And the first match that came on was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, the retirement match. And I was probably 8 or 7 years old, being like, the spectacle is great. Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler in the world. And then I've just watched him retire. And I was like, this is awesome. I was like, this is absolutely incredible. And then 3 years later, WWE started. I can't remember if I started training when I was 11, 12, or 13. But either way, it's now 10 years ago. So WWE had just restarted their Tough Enough series. And they were send in videotapes. So me and my best friend, Evan Price, he's going to be listening to this. We were in his living room and we were making Tough Enough tapes. And we were like, we're going to be WWE superstars. We're going to be the next fucking big thing. Obviously, no. But I think it was the same day we'd just learned that wrestling schools were a thing. And we were going down Wikipedia of British wrestling schools. And it turned out there was one a 20-minute drive away from our house. And that's when we first stepped in to a wrestling gym. It was down in Wales. It was a promotion called Royal Imperial Wrestling, who I think they've only now just shut their doors. They've been going forever. Pete Dunne was one of their first champions. So there's a lot. You can look online. It's Pete Dunne, very green when he first started. And that was my sort of first introduction to indie wrestling. Because I was like, oh, there's wrestling that's not WWE. And when you're 11 years old and now you're a wrestler, you think it's the coolest thing in the world. And then I reckon maybe like 4 months after training, I made my debut. And Jimmy Havoc was on the main event in a no DQ match. And I came out, which is so my career is going very full circle right now, which hopefully we'll see in the future. But I was dressed in a clown onesie, so like head to toe, and I was hidden underneath the ring. And I was teamed up with a guy called Osmosis, who was another clown. He was the adult clown, I was the baby clown. And I had to come out from underneath the ring and jump on a guy's back called Kilbane, and he was like 6'5", or at least to me at that age, he was 6'5". Shot me in the ring and he slammed me. But at 11 years old, underneath the ring, at the time, I'm like, this is the coolest thing. I'm coming out as a surprise. This is it. Looking back, I'm like, that was dangerous. That was really dangerous because it was like first half main event as well. I was under the ring for so long. And I remember getting underneath and I was like, this is really cool. And then the first bump happened. I don't know if you've ever been underneath a ring when a bump happens. It's loud. It's really loud. So it cut to me like underneath the ring like this, waiting probably about half an hour, 45 minutes for Osmosis to pop his head underneath the ring and go, it's your turn, it's your turn. So then I came out and I did my bit and I got a pop, which was crazy. And I remember I was lying on the floor after the cell and I'm like, this is it. I'm going to be a wrestler. This is the coolest thing ever. The wrestling itch never goes away, which we'll get into later. But yeah, that was my first introduction to professional wrestling and indie wrestling. So I was really into indie wrestling from a young age, which like I instantly binned off WWE. I thought indie wrestling was the thing. Especially back then, you know, the golden era of stars. You had your Pete Dunne, you had your Will Ospreay, you had your so-and-so. And it was during that show, I think it was either that show or the show after, a photographer backstage took a photo of me, you know, as you do at shows. And he put me on his Instagram. And on his Instagram, there was Penta 10 years ago as well. So at the time, I don't know if he was a huge name 10 years ago. But Penta was on there. Alberto Del Rio was on there. Ospreay was on. Literally every name you could think of, right, was on there. And then there was me in my little clown onesie. And I'm like, this is really cool. And then he put it on Twitter, and Will Ospreay replied to it. And at that age, that was like the pinnacle. I was like, I've done it. This is it. And this was like when Will Ospreay was he just starting out, or was he like sort of, this would have been like 2016, so maybe like Rev Pro era?
Yeah, quite early doors. Yeah, still.
Yeah, but it was really cool at the time.
Yeah. Dude.
And yeah, that was my first sort of introduction to indie wrestling.
So you go from being mate, that is like you sort of said, when you look back on it, it's sort of just being under the ring for like 40 odd minutes as well.
Dangerous.
Just be like,
super dangerous.
yeah.
I do have a video of it somewhere. Maybe I can send it to you. I don't know if you can superimpose it over the screen here. But I'll send you.
Maybe if you got something, I can do picture. When I edit it, I'll have it a little pop.
Right. So the video's here of me making my debut, so everyone can laugh at it. If I find it, if I don't, that's really embarrassing. It's on my phone somewhere. I tried to find it on YouTube the other day and couldn't find it. I was really disappointed, but I think it's buried deep in my phone somewhere.
Right. Well, if you do, if not, I'll put a little apology up and be we'll keep our eyes peeled and we'll post it at some point down the line. But dude, that's crazy. So obviously you go from like a school in Wales. Like I say, the itch never goes away. But I'm kind of guessing then that you kind of, I don't know, most people I speak to, you know, the general 87% of it is wrestling fan 11 to 12, you know, then they kind of hit that 15, 16 year mark, maybe final year at school, going into college, it kind of takes a back burner. and then they kind of find it again when they're like 18, 19 kind of thing. I don't know, was that the same sort of thing then, or was it, did you just go from school to school to school until you got to pursuit?
So it was a case of I trained all the way up until COVID, and so this was actually a conversation I was just having a training with Gene. One of my last matches is on YouTube, and it's not good. The other guy in it is really good, because the other guy in it is James Ellis, if you know James Ellis.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's James Ellis's first match. And the referee, at like 12 years of age, he's probably younger, is Leon Cage. We all had really different career trajectories after that. But yeah, so I wrestled all the way up through COVID. And I was probably about 17 is when I had my last match. And then what happened was, so I went to Leeds for uni, which is why I'm up north now. And the whole reason I chose Leeds is because there was a wrestling school up here. But then, obviously, during COVID, wrestling went kaput. There was the whole speaking out movement. So a lot of people I shared locker rooms with when I was a kid or stuff like that, wrestling just went straight off the bat. So then I found myself in Leeds, and there was no training school. And I was like, and also I was at uni, so uni really took over. But it was always there. I went to one session maybe 2 or 3 years ago with camp wrestling. I was speaking to Ash about it the other day, but I went to camp wrestling for one session, but life did just take over, and I wasn't into it as well. So what really got my passion back for it was Clash of the Castle in Cardiff. I went with Mr. Evan Price, who I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest wrestling event I'd ever seen up to that point. It was like our WrestleMania in Cardiff. We were used to the Mortar Point Arena, which was 3,000 people, house show. Actually, one of the best matches I saw in 2019 was Walter and Tyler Bate at NXT TakeOver Cardiff. So seeing that live was mental. And I was still wrestling at that time as well. So I sort of fell out with it when I got there. And then I remember there was a point during COVID where I was like lying on my bed and I was like, I think I've just missed the golden era of British wrestling. I think I was too young for it. Then it shot itself in the foot, and then COVID happened. And I was like, damn it. I'm not the golden era that I was like in a little indie show in Wales, because we were still getting big stars down. We were still getting like Joe Connors down, and Kirby was there, and Jimmy Havoc was there, and all these sorts of people. And I was like, I've missed it. So then when I went to uni, there was sort of no scene left either. There was no training school around. I know PBW was going since 2019, but they weren't as big as what they are now. So I didn't know that they were based in Sheffield. And also, I probably wouldn't have even wrestled at that time because I was so busy with uni and stuff. So yeah, I sort of missed that era. And then how I got back into it was sort of around 2023 to the back end of 24, to like middle of 25. A lot of time. It was basically 23 to beginning of 25. I don't know why I broke it down like that. I was all over the shop. Uni had just ended, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I was going out every weekend, and I was drinking, and I was sort of just like wasting away. And I was like all over the shop. And I remember it was November of 24, and I was like, I need to sort everything out like right now. So I booked a trip to America for last year. Do you know what Camp America is?
Nope.
So Camp America is when you go away to an American summer camp and you work there for 3 months. And I went out to the camp that inspired Camp Rock, the Disney movie.
Nice.
It's one of the craziest experiences I've ever had in my life. But for me, that was sort of like, right, I'm going to go to America and I'm going to do the whole let's find myself thing. But just before I went out, I met up with a friend at a coffee shop who is a music performer. And they do tours around Europe. They do festivals. They were at Download last year. They're a pretty good band. And I met up with them for a coffee just to talk about the music video that they made, because I was very interested in how they did it. Because I also went to uni for film, so that's why that conversation came up. And we sort of went off the video, and they were just talking to me how they got to where they were in that position. And they basically grafted for like the last 6 years of their life. Like their music band was their life non-stop. And now they were living the dream. And I was like, I had a dream once. I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to be a big performer. And I tried starting a band. I tried being a film director. So I've tried all this performance nonsense, but none of it was like wrestling. None of it gives me the buzz of like when you step out that curtain and it's like, yeah, we've got the crowd in the palm of our hands.
Yeah.
So I was chatting to them. And after that conversation, we had like a 6-hour conversation of like hopes and dreams and how they got there, yada, yada. And after that conversation, I went home and it was a literal look in the mirror moment. And I was like, I need to sort it out. I was like, no, I want to be a wrestler. I've always wanted to be a wrestler. Because as I said, like my passion sort of came back around Clash of the Castle, which was 23, I want to say. Was it 23?
About 23, I want to say about 23.
Yeah, 23 or 24. And I was like, right, okay, we're going to be a wrestler again. So I sat down that night, and if my girlfriend's listening to this, she'll know exactly what I'm on about now. I sat down that night and I wrote down everything that was like sort of wrong in my life. And I thought to myself, right, because at that point I was 21, and I was like, right, if I give wrestling 10 years of my full, undivided attention, something's got to work somewhere. If it doesn't work after 10 years, it's not going to work, right? Because this person who I was chatting to, their entire life was their band 24/7. It's all they thought about. So I wrote down on a list, I was like, no more drinking, go sober. I was like, sort the diet out, this. And I pinned it to the back of my door, of my bedroom door. So anytime I got up in the morning or left the room, that was staring at me in the face as a reminder. And then I told myself, I went, right, I've got 3 months in America. And where I was going in America, right, it was crazy. There was a bar in the middle of the forest. It was, I actually can't tell the stories on, what we got up to out there. That probably won't be allowed back in the country. That's a joke. I probably will be. I hope so, because I want to go on there wrestle. But I told myself, right, I'm going to go out there for 3 months, and I'm going to have the blowout, right? We're going to drink. We're going to smash America, right? And also I was teaching filmmaking out there, so I was doing one of my passions. So I was teaching filmmaking to kids and stuff. And so before I went there, I was like, right, when I come back, I'm going to do everything that this note says, and I'm going to dedicate myself to wrestling. I'd already set my sights on PBW at that point because I saw that Leon was there, and I was like, well, he's the best wrestler in the world, so I'm going to go to where they train the best. And then obviously, well, Cruz is there, and I was getting a little bit back into the indies, and I was like, oh god, no, the talent here is really good. I was like, it's got to be a good place to go, right?
Yeah.
So I went to America, and I had this fucking blowout. And then how the sort of America worked is there was like 3 sessions split into 3 weeks. And on the first session, I was talking to people. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back. I'm going to try and be a wrestler. But I had so much. I was in like the wilderness, right? And I had so much time to think about wrestling and how much I really wanted to do it. And it was eating away at me. It was really eating away at me. And it got to the 3rd session when I had 3 weeks left in this camp, but I had 4 weeks left in America. And I was clawing to leave that country. I was like, I want to go back. And I was not even doing work out there. When I was sat on my computer, I was watching wrestling again, but like properly watching it, like delving deep into it.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of where I came up with the character of BoxOffice, which I'll get into in a minute. Where I was like, this is going to be the character. I had so much time. Like my notes app on my phone is disgusting with the amount of stuff I was like thinking about out there. And when I was in I remember so. Oh, here's another flash of picture-in-picture if I can give it to you. Well, I can't give it to you because I know where this photo is. So, boom. So we were really drunk one night, right? And where we were, it was the clearest sky I've ever. You could see like the galaxy dust. There was meteor showers every 30 seconds. It's the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen with my own eyes, right? We were lying there really drunk. And then we were chatting about hopes and dreams again because we were looking at this sky. And you're like, oh, we're really small. It was sort of like one of those moments, like, wow, we are small. And the person turned to me and went, so you're going to be a wrestler when you go back? I was like, I want to be one of the best, actually. I'm going to like really dedicate myself to wrestling again. So when I was in the airport on the way back, when I was in JFK, I emailed Liam and I said, I want to be a wrestler again. And then the week I came back, I walked into PBW for the first time, and that was the 17th of September.
Dude. And the rest, as to say, is history. But obviously, you kind of, you thought of this whole, the box office thing. Dude, I'll get to that in a second. I just want to shout out, obviously, anybody knows me, you've seen the episodes. I'm a massive film nerd, massive film geek as well. So as soon as you sort of said about, doing filmmaking or stuff like that, I was like, I'll rein it in. I'm not going to get sidetracked. But
you can ask me about filmmaking.
I'll put it for now. I might end the episode with a little cheeky top 5 at some point. But yeah, the whole box office idea then, like you sort of said, it fits. It makes even more sense now. But yeah, obviously the creation of the box office.
So it's got some multiple meanings to it. So the first of all is the film background. When you finally see that, when the box office character finally does show up, and I've done it with some promos already on Instagram. It's on my pinned, but I like to do proper promos when I do them. I just filmed Sammy's actually for True Grit. We went out and filmed that because I've got a really nice camera that I do stuff on. So that's something I want to set me apart. Is I don't want to be on my phone doing promos. I want to do camera stuff. I want stuff to look really nice. So there's a lot of sort of film reference, and I'm working on some gear, which I'm really excited to show when I finally do. I think Box Office is coming out in August, which is a bit of a spoiler. And I'm working on some gear, and it's basically going to be Macho Man. I'm going full Macho Man with it. It's going to be full glitz and glamour. Because I can't do like, I'm really serious. I've got to do like, hey, let's go. Which I think British wrestling is actually turning more towards. I think it's turning away from serious stuff. So yeah, it's sort of that. And then it was when I was out in America, and I was like, what makes you seem like a top talent? Your box office, your box office draw. Like if you look on Twitter, everyone goes, this guy's box office. And I was like, no one's doing this. I was like, I can't believe no one is doing the whole like, because everyone goes, I'm the best in the world. That's the thing that everyone does right now. Yeah. But I was like, no, if I can go out there, I'm like, no, I'm the box office draw, which I'd love to be. If I can be the draw, then the gimmick is all about. I'm hoping box office can come out in really big matches. I'm hoping people will see the big matches and go, this is what it's meant to be. Yeah. So that's sort of, but yeah, it's sort of. I think the box office character, what he's sort of shrouded in right now, he is like a really insecure guy. Because he's seen all these heroes on TV and movies, and he wants to be them. And then, like, maybe I sort of think that there's going to be a biopic of my life made one day. And to do that, I've got to be this great wrestler, and I've got to win all these titles. And when I did a Charles Crowley seminar, he actually came up with a really good point. We did this thing where we sat in the ring, and it basically turned into a therapy session, right? Charles Crowley is really good at what he does. He's fantastic. And we came up with a really good point. When I used to wrestle, I did win a belt, but I won it in front of no one. And he's like, that's perfect for box office. Your main moment was in front of no one. So how are you going to deal with that? And I think that's a really, really cool motivation for that character is to like go, if I'm having these big matches where if box office is losing these big matches, he's not getting his moment. He thinks he's this bravado, but he's not getting it. So when maybe he finally does get it, I think a bit of a snap will go in his brain and he can't let go of it.
Good. And that's the thing as well, like you said, British wrestling, it's not so much turning away from the seriousness. It's getting more people are seeing the importance of characters. I've been on this soapbox for the last few years, and any chance I get to speak to people who have great characters or working on characters, yeah, probably 10 years ago, everybody was just kind of an extension of themselves to a point, kind of thing. There's no real characters. There was just wrestler one, wrestler two, wrestler three. Whereas in now, I think people are kind of getting the importance of, man, if we've got a good character, that's kind of sets us apart, or it kind of shows what we can offer to to a promoter. But it also means you guys don't have to work as hard. Well, not work as hard, but
Yeah.
You get a bigger reaction for doing less, kind of thing. Like I said, I was saying to Noah, obviously he's kind of got this whole problem child, he's just this annoying little twat, as I sort of said to him. So when he gets a punch in the face, the fans react to it. He can get a reaction just by being punched in the face. He doesn't have to bust his arse for 5 minutes doing sequence after sequence. And that's what characters give to you guys. But it also lets you tell stories more. It gives you something to get your teeth into.
Yeah, so like if I go back to that conversation I had looking at the stars, I was like, I want to be one of the best. I don't want to be the best wrestler in the world. I'm not going to be pulling out Ospreys anytime. I'm not going to be doing Canadians to hidden blades to up and over the ropes. I want to be one of the best storytellers, because I think that's why I've actually always been deep down. I've always, like, the film background. I'm telling stories through film. When I used to wrestle, I was only like this little kid, and I wasn't wrestling matches, but I was telling the little stories, which is what I really enjoy with the Sammy stuff right now, because I think we've got a really good story cooking up. But yeah, I watch a lot of wrestling, especially now. I watch a hell of a lot. And I noticed that, like, you do a Canadian, you're getting a little. I've seen some people have, like, really, like, their characters are so good that they'll do, like, one movement and the crowd explodes. What I say right now is, who sells the most merch on the indies? It's Nathan.
Yeah.
And he just runs around and goes size. He sells loads of merch. Why would you not follow him? He's clearly a great blueprint. Dean, he's a great comedy guy, but he can also go. But, he's also not killing himself in the ring.
Yeah.
There's so many. I think everyone who's Leo Rush, look at it. He's more over than ever because he's come up with a deep character. He's not, he's still doing all of his stuff, but it's perfect. So I really think that's where British wrestling is going now, is more character based, because they're the most. Yeah. Whenever I go to shows, they're the most over every time.
Well, that's it. I mean, again, I'm not besmirching anyone. These guys can go, but it's guys like Sammy, guys like Gung Ho, that have kind of got that character that are just the smallest thing can get the biggest reaction. We care. There's a reason Gung Ho Muttley is probably the most sponsored wrestler on True Grit, is because people want to see him. People want to see him get beat up. People want to see that character take a beating, kind of thing, and they'll pay to see it.
Well, again, like at Blackheart yesterday, his theme music hit and everyone was singing it. His character is over before he even steps out there, so he doesn't need to kill himself in the ring.
Nope.
You don't need to. If you really connect with people, you don't need to do it. Like I do like Rev Pro, but I go to a lot of Rev Pro shows and I see the same thing over and over and over again, which is great. They can all go. They're all fantastic wrestlers, but I think Rev Pro just. If Rev Pro got some little characters in there, I think it'd be perfect. I think if you had that really good wrestling with some really good characters, it'd be top tier. Like, it's not top tier anyway, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, just a little bit extra. Just that extra, that little bit extra. Like, get the like HMD, get him involved, get him doing his character stuff, or guys like that. People from Pursuit, basically, just doing what they do. But yeah, that's it. We've got. You mentioned the Sammy thing. Obviously, that's huge at the minute. I obviously want to shout out. That's how over it is. Obviously, at Planet a few weeks ago, Saxa made her debut, and you've got Saxa involved. It was basically the Blue World Order. The BWO. It was Saxa's coming out dressing, in the Sammy 1, Sammy 2, Sammy 3.
Yeah. I keep making the joke that we're going to end up like the 2000s NWO, and we're going to have like 50 of us. But yeah, the Sammy thing is great. I actually can't believe how over it is everywhere we go. I do pinch myself. Like when I came out at Tidal, and I got a little pop at Tidal, and I was like, these people have never seen me before. Why am I getting a pop? This is crazy. But what me and Sammy are trying to do, we're really trying to push the social media stuff, because it's something. Yeah, again, it's something I'm learning off Nathan. It's something I learned off Richard Holiday when he was at PBW. Social media, there's zero downsides to doing it. I know some people don't like doing it, but if you do it, you like my Instagram has got like 450 followers, and I've done nothing. I've not wrestled a match yet, and I can't believe it. And yeah, again, as I say, Nathan, he's the blueprint. Look at the stuff he's doing. I don't think there's many people in the UK actually that do a lot of social media. Like your Ben Bishops, your Richard Holidays, your Tommy Invincibles, they're all over in America. You've got Nathan that does it over here. There's another name, and I always forget it. You'll probably remind me.
I mean, to be fair, my favourite person on socials at the minute is a dude at Fight Factory called Strap. He's the Anarchy title holder. He's smashed. He's been like doing a Blair Witch thing at the minute where he's out in the woods, because obviously the title is a 24/7 title and it lends itself. But we had this conversation on his episode, and mate, it's just I'm a massive advocate for this. I sort of like. I hate social media. It's, it can be toxic, but there is no downside to it if you know how to use it. You go on there, you can promote your stuff, you can expose the brand, you can advertise it. It's free. Why would you not? You're in the wrestling business. It's a visual business. You've got a visual platform. Whether you're cutting promos, whether you're showing. That's why I do like the reels. If I see a match, or I'm not saying I'm brilliant at them, but I like. Hopefully, I can get a few more eyes on people. I can get people talking about people's matches if they see.
I always read your reels when you put reels out when you're down at UKW and stuff. I always read the descriptions because I'm trying to catch up on everyone. So it definitely works. It's got my eye on it.
Oh, thank you, dude. Well, if it's just one person, that's that's what matters. But yeah, why would you not? Like you sort of said, it's just. But yeah, shout out to Strap, obviously. But obviously, G Money with the Nathan Black, he gets the whole social side of things. Probably most of the people at PPW have kind of got an upper hand on it. HMD is getting very good at it now as well.
He just put a really good one out.
Yeah, well, like the 2 years ago one, where he's like, 2 years ago I was living in Sheffield, or I moved to Sheffield, but yeah, it's just stuff like that. Joey Slade, I know Joey.
Yeah, Joey Slade knows a lot.
He knows the benefit.
Lando got big doing it.
Yep. So there are people out there. I think Billy's kind of getting hold of it now as well, but through like the whole elevation thing. I'm seeing him cutting promos about all. He's putting promos out now to big up his matches. Whether it's off his own back, he's filming these to get interest for. Like he's against Brady at FCB on Saturday. I watched Billy's promo earlier. It's like what, he's getting really good at the promos now. He's becoming believable. He's becoming like, I would not mess with that guy.
No, I always say to Sammy as well. I'm like, because actually it was one of these podcasts. I think it was the one about Nikki's show, and Ian quoted a reel that me and Sammy did, and I was like, oh, people actually watch. So I always say to him, like, the hardcore fans that go to every show, you guys, Jeebus, Nikki, the people that ain't on socials, but they go to every show, and they might just lurk on the socials. If we can build something, and if 10 people are following that whole thing, and the 10 people at the end go, I'm really glad I invested my time into that through the socials, through going to the shows, then that's a win for me.
That's it. Because, if you've got those 10 people, if half of those 10 people, when you do when the box, mate, I want to see box office merch, that leads itself to merch. It's
coming.
Yes. But if half of those people buy some merch, it's a bit of extra pocket money in your pocket as well, kind of thing. It's, again, eyes on the product. You're advertising the brand, not the tag team. But it's just, again, it's there to be used. But yeah, you mentioned you got a reaction at Tidal, mate. You would have got that reaction at Tidal because of the stuff you and Sammy were doing on Instagram and stuff like that as well. A lot of those guys will have seen that, or. It's some of the Tidal audience is a crossover from Planet as well, so they'll know you from Planet. They'll know you from Nikki's show as well, kind of thing, from PPW reels. So, you're more people are aware of what you're doing than you might even. I know people know, but I think there's a lot more people know than you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like the reels get like 3,000 to 10,000 views, so someone's got to be watching them. And if 20 of those people are turning up to the shows, and those 20 people know who I am, so it's a win. It's literally no downside in my mind.
I'm just curious. It's like so say with the whole Sammy thing. Obviously, you've got the box office thing coming up. I presume obviously you can keep them separate. That's the great thing about British wrestling. It's like the whole multiverse kind of thing. That promotion could be Earth 626. That promotion is Earth 298 or something. They exist in separate continuities. But I'm also kind of intrigued as to where. Because again, anytime you do this kind of Sammy Two thing, like we've seen it with Gung Ho, with Caddy, all that kind of sort of stuff. Obviously, it starts off great, it's fun in games until Sammy gets a bit pissed. That'd be amazing. Get him a blue cap.
Caddy. Yeah,
get him a blue cap.
Caddy, if you're listening, come over to the blue side.
Yes, do it. We'll get him a BWO t-shirt. Oh, we need something like that, but obviously without the copyright infringement.
I wanted to do the blue line. Ooh. I want to do the bloodline, but blue line. I really wanted to do that, but we're not going with it. Oh. We've got Gem B is the tag team name, though, and hopefully Gem B will be everywhere.
Dude, that's awesome. But yeah, obviously, I mean, at some point, we've got to get to see that that payoff of you two guys having a match. Now, again, this is way down the road kind of thing. I'm obviously, but the comparison is there for I can't believe I'm going to mention the Miz on an episode, but you got the Miz down kind of thing. Yeah, that's. I don't know if you guys, if there's some purposely, or if you guys have gone back and watched any of that kind of sort of stuff to kind of be like, you know what, that works, or right, let's not do that.
I definitely have. I've the first time we did it, everyone was like, "This is like Miz down," and I was like, "Yes, it is." So we're gonna go do it. I'd also really liken it to what I don't know how much you know about North, but what happened with Judas Gray and Ronan the other day.
Yeah,
their guys' storyline was perfect, and I'd really like to go sort of down that route as well. But yeah, Mizdow was definitely a great inspiration for it. Just comedy wrestling. Let's go.
Yeah, that's it. But then when you get serious, man, it's so much more serious. That's the thing.
Maybe it will get serious. Who knows?
It's got to at some point. But that's it. I mean, obviously, the thing is, though, it's perfect. As you've embraced this. You get the character. You know 100% what you're doing. But getting to work with somebody like Sammy as well, who just gets it. He gets wrestling. He's 100%, whether he's the Super Brat, whether he's Supersonic, whether he's Sammy 1 or Sammy 2, the dude is just, it all clicks. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to play it down to a key kind of thing.
I thought I was good at character stuff from stuff I was doing in training. And then I'm next to him and I'm going, wow, you're a whole nother level. So I'm having a really fun time learning from him. At Blackheart yesterday, I wasn't Sammy 2 at Blackheart. I was just in the crowd, and I was like, "Yeah, you're good. You're really good." I'm also watching him, and I'm going, "I have no idea how I'm going to hang with you because you are really good." Some of the matches I've seen him have lately have been off the charts. The one yesterday with Mercer at Blackheart was fantastic. The Planet one was really good. The UKW one was also really, really good. Nikki's show against Jimmy. I really enjoyed those. What are the and of course the one at Tidal against Alexander Lockhart was fantastic. I think that's my favorite match I've seen of him so far. He was on it for that.
Tidal debut, huge show. Alexander, is an established name there. Friends in high places kind of thing. If you're gonna make an impression, you turn up. I've been there for a while, but the parish is great as well. If you get the fans there, the fans would have been totally behind Sammy, and it would have been electric, dude. So again, kudos to you as well, though, because obviously it was your debut. But it's somewhere else where you can kind of, even if you're not in the ring, you're there, you're soaking it all up. People are getting, you've got eyes on you. People getting to know you before you even do the box office thing.
It was the first time we did it face as well, which was really fun. It can work both ways. It's working heel and it's working face.
We said this. Me and Dan said this.
Yeah. You guys want to see it face at True Grit, don't you?
Yep.
Well, who knows? But yeah, I really enjoy doing it face. the music was really good as well. Sammy picked a really good song for that day. And I'm really excited to do it in face in other places as well. I think we're going to go all over. I wouldn't be shocked if we go from being heels to being organic faces as well down the line. I really wouldn't be shocked if that happens. I know some people have already said it to us. That's probably the way it's going to go. Because I've got a feeling we might be loved to be hated, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, definitely, dude. That's the thing. It's the catch-22 of wrestling. It must be so hard to work heel sometimes because you've got that sort of dilemma of you want to be entertaining, you want to get the reaction, and everything like that. But the more entertaining you are, the more the fans start to like you, whether we mean to or not. Like we've seen it with Nathan in so many places.
Yeah.
Like North gave up and turned like Nathan face kind of thing, and
Yeah.
he was borderline at True Grit for a while. It was just kind of like it must be hard, like sort of said. You just again, I likened it to bring up Noah and to shout out Matty as well. Anytime I get to mention those guys, I've seen those two guys doing what they're doing at UKW. It reminds me very much of old school Edge and Christian. You were meant to hate them, but man, they were so entertaining. You just ended up, absolutely loving them. And yeah, that's the danger.
Yeah. And I mean, me and Sammy were never meant to happen. It happened by complete accident at Planet. I don't know how many people know that, but it was never meant to happen. So I turned up, and I was there for so. What happened that day at the very first Planet was I was at training at PBW, and I was like, "Oh, there's a Planet show tonight. I might go to that." And then Cliff the ref was there, and he goes, Cliff the ref goes, "Oh, I'm reffing tonight if you want to lift up." And I was like, "All right, the ring's already going to be up, so I'll go up and I'll help take the ring down, show my face, say hello." And I walked in the door, and Matty came up to me and he was like, "Oh, box office, yeah, yada yada." And Sammy was behind him. He went, "Oh my God, it's my twin." And apparently people had already said to him, like, "Oh, have you seen this guy at PBW? He really looks like you." And then Sammy went to the promoter, and then he comes back and he goes, "You're going to have to try my gear on." And I was there for, it was never meant to happen. And then that's why on that Planet show, not to break complete kayfabe, that's why I'm wearing my shorts, which I was training in almost like an hour earlier, because we went downstairs and the trousers did not fit me. And I thought it was gone and dead from then. And I was like, we don't have the trousers. But it was, funnily enough, having the tiny crop top on me and the fishnet top that still didn't fit me. So I came out on like gear that just didn't fit me, and I looked really ridiculous. And we were like, "Oh, this is working." And then I think it was that week I went on Vinted, and I was like, "Okay, I've got to buy some blue trousers now." And also it was like a day before I had booked to have my hair cut. I was going to cut all this long hair, and I was going to, because the box office character was about to start, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to have like short hair, sort of like, what actors have." And Sammy texts me going, "Do not cut that hair. We need the hair." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "We're going to try and get this in a few other places." And I mean, I owe everything to Sammy right now, because it went from being an accident to him giving me a chance on a show to now it's like expanded. And we're like, wow, it's really going now. So it's one of those things in wrestling where like I didn't think I was going to make my debut at all until like September. And it was going to be on a behind closed doors PPW in-house show just to get myself ready. And all of a sudden I was out there at Planet 2 hours after training.
Hey, that's the thing. That is the wonderful world of, again, I speak to people, so many people, when they're talking about the journeys or talking about their experiences, and the amount of times it comes up where it's just like right place, right time, or just that moment, kind of like lightning in a bottle. You just can't plan for it. You can't kind of try and organize that kind of sort of stuff. It's just going to happen.
And I owe Cliff, the ref, everything for giving me the lift that day. If he didn't give me that lift, I probably wouldn't have gone to Planet. So I owe Cliff and I owe Sammy a hell of a lot.
Dude. But yeah, keep the hair, man. I just think like Jason Momoa, Jared Leto, Brad Pitt at times.
Yeah.
There's box office people out there doing with the long hair.
Yeah.
There's no, just have to bun it up a little bit, man, bun it up.
I probably will bun it for when box office appears.
Yeah. Channel the Jared Leto or the Jason Momoa vibe.
But yeah, so
Got me trying to.
everything's been kicking off. It's really exciting, out of nowhere as well. So, yeah.
Dude, I say, I gotta say, you just can't make that stuff up. You can't plan for it. You can't, and it's just, it's the spontaneity kind of thing. Like you sort of say, you just turn up. Somebody has this idea, and that's the thing as well. That's why I was having this conversation with somebody about, they were talking to me about like doing the training and everything like that, and he sort of said to me, he says, look, one of my main issues, dude, is I'm not flexible enough. He's like, if I'm doing a match, I try and plan everything out, and if something goes wrong or if somebody's in the wrong place, I'm fucked. I don't have that ability to kind of improvise. And I remember somebody sort of saying to me, I think it was Phil from Pro Wrestling for You. He sort of said, he does improv classes kind of thing. And he sort of said one of the most important things in wrestling is improvisation. You need to be able to just do it on the spot. And that's the perfect example. They've just come up to you at that show. We've got an idea, get this gear, come out. And you basically just had to do everything in the heat of the moment.
Yeah. Which also I think worked in my favor because I didn't have like first show nerves again. Like obviously I've got my prior wrestling experience, but it's all still new to me. Like I really say now, like yeah, I've been wrestling 10 years, but I've really been doing it for like less than, I think it's 10 months now. On the 17th of July. So I'm 10 months in, and like I didn't get the first show nerves because it was like, oh, I've got to go out there, I've got to do it. And Planet was such a great show to do it on as well. The crowd was great, the energy was great, the match with Sammy, and that's also the first ever time I've met Sammy. That was our very first meeting, was that show, and like he's like one of my best mates now. Like we hang out all the time, because we just get each other. Like we also have a very similar understanding to how we think wrestling works, and we've also got 100 similarities that we've now figured out. There's too many similarities between us. I don't know if you saw my reel from the other day where we ended up with WWE together.
No, I didn't see that one.
So we booked it completely separately. WWE Live in Sheffield, right? My girlfriend booked the tickets a week before, and I was like, yeah, cool, let's go. We got there, and Sammy was the seat behind us. And we were like, I keep saying, I think the world was going to make us meet at some point. I think we couldn't avoid each other at this point. We were going to meet, and I think this was going to happen. It's really weird, not to get like all spiritual and stuff, but I really do think it was meant to happen.
Dude, yeah, man. I fully believe, there's certain like, manifestations and energy, and people are kind of we cross certain people's paths for certain reasons. Not everyone, but there are certain people. There's like I'm trying to think what the technical term for it is. It's kind of like a pivotal point where if somebody was going to, again, it's going to get really weird. I apologize. But like if you're going to go like time traveling or something, there are certain points that cannot be changed. There's like pivot points, key points. There's certain people you meet in your life, and they are the key points that can that cannot be undone, because that will happen regardless, kind of thing. And
and like what I say about my career going full circle, I was once the little clown sidekick. I'm now Sammy's sidekick. It's the exact same gimmick, except I'm not in a clown costume this time. I'm doing the exact same spots that I did 10 years ago. It's like, it's really weird how it's like, it's yet again to get spiritual. It's almost like the world's gone, oh, you wanted to give wrestling a second chance. We're going to do it all over again, the exact same way as before. You're going to get into it. Yeah, you're going to get into it like 10 months in again. You're going to start doing shows like really quick again. And you're going to be the little sidekick again. You're going to do all the same spots again. And this time it's hopefully going to work out. It's really weird how it all comes back around and back together.
Dude, that's awesome. But you're not the little sidekick. You're like the big sidekick this time.
Yeah, I'm the really big sidekick this time.
Yeah, it's like something's like that. Yep, he's up there.
Well, it's funny. Like if you watch like the debut stuff, I'm like this high. And now I'm like this high. And I've put on like 60 more kilos.
Dude, you was like 11, so I'm not even going to make any comparison. You know what I mean? If you was the same size as you was when you was 11, mate, I'd be kind of slightly worried about you had a growth disorder or something. But yeah, like I said, it's like one of those things. If you want to read into it, but yeah, it sort of seems like the second time around, right? Okay, we're doing this. don't stop this time. Keep that momentum
Yeah.
going, like you sort of said. You get to close to probably where you was first time round. Yeah, man, sort of like smash through that wall, keep going, see where it goes. Because that's the thing. I mean, obviously you've done this, you kind of planned this in your head. Obviously you've been working on the box office thing. And this is a cheeky bonus. This, like I said, this came out of nowhere. This is nothing that you prepared for or planned for. So you can still concentrate on the box office stuff, but you've got this stuff going on as well. Creativity, I know you are like a creative person, man, that's got to be heaven, because you not only just got the one thing to get your teeth into, you've got two things to get your teeth into now.
Well, it worked really well in my favor that at Planet, Sammy introduced me as his stunt double. And I was like, oh, we've planted the seed for box office already. I was like, yeah, we have. And yeah, it's really great that I can have these sort of two separate characters, and they probably will mold into one at some point. When that is, I don't know, because this Sammy thing could last 6 more months. It could last a year. Hell, it could last 5 more years, depending on where it goes and what we're doing with it. I mean, if we end up way over, then we're going to have to keep going and we're going to have to keep doing it, because it seems to be on a really good path right now. And I'm not going to change anything. I'm really happy doing it. Sammy's great. I think we'll have some good tag stuff going as well. We've got some good stuff in the pipeline for tag matches potentially down the line.
Yeah, that's it. Once you do the ring stuff, yeah, you got the whole tag team sort of side of things to work. You got that. Yeah, sorry, dude, I cut you off, but yeah, the possibility is
right.
yeah, man, you've got years. This has got, you could run with this for a long, long time.
Well, also what I'm finding crazy is that no one has seen me wrestle yet. I've not wrestled a match yet. So I'm really hoping the first time people see me in the ring, they go, oh, okay, he can actually wrestle. He's not bad. Which is what I'm training really hard for right now, for whenever that first match is going to come round, because I think it's going to come up soon. Yeah, I'm training really hard for it now, because I've not wrestled yet. I've only wrestled training matches at PBW, but not like, I've not done the in-house stuff, so I've not done like entrance, boom, 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 sort of like do this bit, do this bit, do this bit. So I'm really excited to get back into matches and start doing all that side of stuff as well.
Oh, that's the double-edged sword again, rearing its head. Though you mentioned earlier about at Planet, you didn't have time to have that first match nerves. You just kind of got pushed out there. That was it, bish bash bosh. But does that then add?
Yeah.
To when you do have that first match, now people know who you are. People have been looking at you for the last few months, and then when you have that first match, it's going to be like, oh crap, you've got nowhere to hide. It can't be like we don't know who this guy is. We know who this guy is. We've been cheering or booing for him for the last X amount of months. They are watching that match.
Yeah, I think whenever that first match will be, I'm hoping it'll have a few eyes on it if it gets announced. Because also I've not been announced for any of these appearances so far. I'm showing up as a surprise every time, so I've not been announced for anything, which means, going back to the social media stuff, I don't think I've done my full potential on social media yet when it comes to promoting matches as well. And I will try and make every match seem like it's the most important match in wrestling that year, in that month. So whenever that first match gets announced, my socials are going to be disgusting. There's going to be so much stuff on there, and it's almost like I'm piling the pressure on myself. But I kind of like pressure. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I think it will work.
Dude, that's it, man. Just do it. You kind of strike me as one of those kind of guys that's going to be like, if the pressure's on, some people would buckle. I kind of get the vibe that you're just going to step up and be like, yeah, this is fine. This is what you want. You're realistic enough to know if you want to be the box office, you've got to have that pressure. You've got to be able to perform under that pressure. You'll use it, you'll channel it, and it will just be like, yes, that's it. That's exactly what it is. Because like you sort of said, all the Instagram stuff has kind of been after the matches with you and Sammy, hasn't it? It's kind of like you said, because you're not really been announced anywhere. We've not seen the pre-match stuff. We've seen the aftermath stuff. So yeah, man, I'm interested to sort of see what kind of stuff you do to, like say, to hype up the matches to get that kind of interest.
Can I say a dream match I really want with me and Sammy?
Shoot.
I think a Lally match would be really fun.
Oh. Yes, you got the Dan. We actually normally say for Dan. Yes, that would be.
I think Gen B and Lally would be a really, really fun match. So if any promoters out there are listening, any place, anywhere, Let's do Gen B and Lally. Let's see who the real best friends are. Let's see who the true best friends are.
Oh, if I had a gauntlet, I would throw it down. I would slap it across the screen. Like, there we go. Challenge has been made.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, if True Grit wanted, again, that to me, that's got True Grit written all over it. If they want to take Sammy out of the Pride division for a little bit, put him in the tag team. Me and Dan are always saying they need a few more tag teams in my opinion. Yeah, Gen V versus Lally, dude.
Yeah.
That's mate. Even if it's just a few months down the road, tease it at the Rumble or something. Have all four of you guys in the Rumble at the same time and be like, ooh.
I want to do something at the Rumble where Box Office comes out as well as Sammy Two. I'm hoping I can do a Rumble like that eventually.
I'm trying to think of like the three faces of Foley kind of 100%. Thing. I want to see the three faces of Blackmore.
Well, with the Box Office character, I wanted to do like when I'm a lot more established. So this might be like 2-3 years down the line. I wanted to do like themed months. So I wanted to do like in February I'm romantic Box Office. Halloween horror. Christmas, and like summer will be summer blockbusters, yada yada. So I do want to go down the sort of the three faces route because there'll be I'm hoping if I get more established, it'll like keep the intrigue just a bit. Oh right, we're coming up to February. He's going to be like really romantic this time, and then if I do a hardcore match, I'll be Stuntman Blackmore, and I'll come out dressed differently, and you'll be like, oh, he's going to do something really dumb this time. So I want to do a lot of the three faces stuff, and that's a lot of stuff I've been thinking about as well. But that's sort of more down the line when I'm a bit more established.
Oh, dude! Generally, that would be amazing. I'm just quite imagining if you coming out like a Stuntman Mike from Death Proof. I want to see you in that silver jacket. 100%. Oh, mate, with the scar and everything. Be like, yeah.
I really want to do the Kill Bill outfit. I think the Kill Bill outfit would be a really funny one to do.
Yeah, now I've thought of it, I can't unsee it. But yeah, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. With the music as well, kind of thing. I'm just like, mate, you are the perfect kind of wrestler for me because you've kind of got that imagination, you've got that creativity, but you've kind of got this kind of sort of stuff where I could get lost in my head. I could be fantasy booking things or be like, oh, what if he did this? What if he did this? Oh, what if he did that?
You should be in my mind when I'm thinking about it. I'm like, it's really work.
Mate, that is amazing. Oh, dude, I'm hyped. I think we'll sort of see again. No pressure or anything, but I'm thinking down the road we need to do a few more episodes, and we can discover a few more of these kind of characters as they're popping up or as they're being teased or things like that. Because, dude, this is just right up my street. But I said I was going to save it for the end. I kind of gave you a bit of forewarning, but then we've been talking, so you've not had a chance to think about it. So I am going to put you on the spot now that I know you're a film fan or you've kind of got that interest. Top 5 films.
So number 1 is Zulu, Michael Caine's first movie, first starred movie. If you want to talk about storytelling, that is great. Just like 2 hours of just like good, bad. Good guys are like down, they're outnumbered. Oh, they're coming back. Great movie. I watch it every year. It's fun. The soundtrack is fun. I actually kind of wanted to use the soundtrack for Box Office's entrance. If you know what the soundtrack is, that's like in my playlist somewhere. My second movie is a film called Wake in Fright. Have you ever seen Wake in Fright?
No.
Wake in Fright. So what my uni used to do is do a secret cinema club because we had a big cinema screen, and it was every Tuesday you show up and they don't tell you what the film is and you just watch it. And it's one of those films where I sat there and I was like, I think I'm watching my favorite movie here, but it will never overtake Zulu, unfortunately. But it is up there for me. But basically what it is it's an Australian movie, and the guy gets like lost in the outback and he loses all of his money, and he's surrounded by people who just drink. So every time he's down and out, someone pops up and goes, don't worry, mate, have a beer. And it really reminded me of the hometown I was from. Like, there's nothing really going on back in the town I'm from in Wales. It's like people do just like lounge around and drink. And I was like, oh my God, this is like back home. But Wake in Fright is a 10 out of 10 movie. And it's really funny. The main character is an extra in Zulu, which I realized after the fact. So they're both connected. The third one would be Before Sunrise. Really big fan of that movie, the Richard Linklater movie.
Yeah.
The fourth one is, I'm trying to think of my Letterboxd top 4. Oh my god, what is it's going to come to me after the podcast. It's really going to annoy me. Well, if I had to put anyone in the fourth one or fifth one, it's any of the Lord of the Rings movies, especially the third one. It's just the best film ever. Star Wars as well. You know, it's a really basic answer, but Star Wars, the original.
So you covered both trilogies then. Basically, we're not going to get there's only one trilogy conversation.
No, they're all boss. They're all really good. You can't. I hate going like, oh, number 3's the best. They're all good. Like you watch them individually and you go, nah, this one's the best. Then you watch the next one and you go, ah, this one's the best. And you just go in a cycle. I can't think what my fourth movie is. There's Before Sunrise, Wake and Fright, Zulu. I can't think of the fourth one, but I give you quite a lot there.
Yeah, man, that works. That works for me. It's good answers as well. Good answers that I don't normally. You can kind of tell you know your stuff. So it's kind of like you're not throwing out generic popcorn fodder. So it's kind of like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I've watched way too many movies.
Yeah, that's normally my line. But yeah, no, I think I've met my match. And well, the fact that you said a film that I've never heard of, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Okay,
go watch Wake and Fright. They've just released a 4K version of it, which I need to go watch.
Right, I will get that added to my list and I will get it watched. My return to you would be, this is the film that I always say, and nobody's watched it, barring about 5 people that I know. True Romance. That is my
True Romance. So the soundtrack from that is incredible. Yeah, no, True Romance is great. What do you mean only 5 people have seen it? It's a great movie.
I know it's my favourite film ever. If I get asked, I don't generally do favourite, I do top 5s, but if I get put on the spot and somebody says, like, what's your favourite film?
Go on, top 5.
Well, True Romance. Clerks.
Clerks is great.
True Romance, Clerks. This is where the comic book nerd in me comes out. I've got to say, Infinity War, just for what it did at the cinema. Nothing's ever been seen like it before or will be seen again, I don't think.
I wasn't a Marvel fan until I watched Infinity War, and that ending threw me off guard so much. I was like, that was actually great.
Yeah, and it's 10 years in the making, man. It's like a story that's been told over like 50 films. Some good, some bad, don't get me wrong. But again, it's not something that's ever been attempted or will probably ever be attempted to that level of success again. So for its moment in cinema history, I've got to show it some love. So yeah, that I'm trying to think of I get past. I'm not used to being the one answering the questions.
I've remembered what my fourth one is. Sorry, it's Monty Python's The Holy Grail.
Yes, nice. Yep. Okay, that is. I'm trying to think. The Holy Grail. Yes, obviously, yeah. It's a toss up sometimes for people. Life of Brian or Holy Grail. Yeah. I think Holy Grail's more quotable. It's got more moments in it, kind of thing, hasn't it? Obviously, but yeah, Scream. Would be on there for me, and my fifth one always changes. But I watched it again recently. I want to say 12 Angry Men.
Oh yeah, really like 12 Angry Men. Great movie.
Just to show a little bit of class, a little bit of black and white, a bit of old school. But again, my fifth changes days and days. You ask me another day, I'll probably say Happy Gilmore or something. I won't be feeling as cultured. But yeah,
I've got a question. Are you excited for Doomsday?
I am curious. Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical. They've had 2 years to kind of jump back on and ride the Wolverine and Deadpool wave. For me, that was like the best thing that they've done in a long time, and they should have jumped back on that bandwagon. But it's kind of fallen flat on its face again since. I think it's going to be too much. Looking at the cast list, and it's got all these amazing people in it, but in fact, I know that they'll be on screen for like 60 seconds.
I think the story is going to be that they go into a multiverse, they find Tony Stark alive again, and Spider-Man's like, "Oh, Mr. Stark, you're my favorite," and then like it turns out to be evil, and he's like, "No, Mr. Stark." I've got a feeling that is where that film is going to go.
I don't know, because obviously, he turned up at the end of Fantastic Four, as Doom kind of thing. I'm curious. All I'll say is it's got me. I'm thinking about it. I'm interested to see how it goes, and I suppose that's half the thing. I'm curious. I'm going in with low expectations. Uh, if it does well, awesome. I get to see Channing Tatum as Gambit again.
Yeah.
That's fine, whether it's only for 60 seconds or half the film. A cheeky bonus. But no, I'm intrigued. I'm more intrigued really now as to what the DC, as a Marvel fan. It's weird to say, but I'm more intrigued by the DC universe at the minute. Now Gunn's
I've
got
not seen
control
the
of
new
it.
Supergirl yet.
No, I haven't, but I love the Superman film, and I hate Superman. So for me to watch that,
Yeah,
I
it's
watched that
alright.
film twice in 2 days. I watched it, and then I made my kids watch it the day after, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued as to where they're going to go with that.
Yeah, well, James Gunn's at the helm, and he made the best Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah.
Guardians
Guardians.
is great.
Guardians is great, but I was a big fan of the first Ant-Man film as well.
What was that? Sorry.
The first Ant-Man film.
Did he make the Ant-Man film?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're saying that he made the best ones.
Right,
Guardians
you're
is
saying
great.
Ant-Man. Right,
Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah.
Ant-Man's maybe on par with God. I don't know. Visually, it's obviously sci-fi comedy. It's a whole different conversation, I guess.
Yeah.
But dude, it's a conversation that I will happily have at any point. But dude, I always try and keep people for an hour, which I've gone way over since I made the mistake of starting to talk about films, which has re-energized me. Dude,
You're lucky we didn't talk
much.
about wrestling in general. We'd be here for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think we've got more episodes to come. I think we've barely touched the surface here, dude.
I completely forgot one point I was going to make earlier, but we'll save it for another time.
You sure, man? Make it if you want. We'll tease it for the next one.
All right, so maybe it's a quick one, but I think that British wrestling is currently in a territory phase, like the old 80s and 70s.
Dude, I say that all the time, and people look at me like I'm gone out. I even kind of have to backtrack when I sort of say it. Like I'm going to describe it as territorial, but I don't mean it's territorial. But I do mean it's territorial because you've got like your Lancaster, your talent from Lancashire, you've got your talent from Yorkshire, you've got your talent from down south, you've got your Scottish talent, you've got your Northwest talent. Dude, thank you. I'm glad somebody else has said it, and I don't kind of have to try.
Because the only people you really see crossover is if they're in Rev Pro, and they sometimes come up to North Wrestling. And obviously Rev is like in Sheffield and stuff, but like the sort of indie, like obviously Rev is an indie, but you're sort of like your circuit that you have of like your planets and your yada yada. That's the Yorkshire circuit. I think there's a Yorkshire circuit, there's a Scotland circuit, there's a Manchester. Like I mentioned James Ellis earlier, he's really good, and I thought he was going to go bosh, but he's like stayed down in Wales and Southern, and obviously he's on Rev Pro now and he's doing great things, but you don't sort of see your wrestlers in your little indies anymore everywhere. They're sort of, they stay in the big indies. You've got your wrestlers that just do Rev, North Progress, and then you've got like your other class and stuff like that. So yeah, I do think we're in a territory phase right now. I think you get the rare breakout, but there's definitely, and like I'm a bit biased, but I think Yorkshire is the best territory right now. I think we've got the best wrestlers.
I've got to stay unbiased because obviously I talked to a lot of people from the northeast and the northwest as well. That's kind of like the left side radius is Yorkshire, northeast, northwest, covering the Midlands as well, just because I've got to represent. That's why I saw Ellis as well, by the way. He does a lot of stuff at Elevation. So
yeah.
But yeah, no. Dude, thank you. Yeah, this is something we can get into at another point as well. But yeah, it is I always kind of class it as territory. I describe that now, because that's when I'm talking to people. I'm like, you see them getting bookings within like the Yorkshire area, or I know somebody's got a lot of momentum when they're branching out, when they're turning up in the northeast or when they're turning up in the northwest. You can kind of tell that they've leveled up in a way, kind of thing. It's like I'm saying about George Hunter. For me, he's kind of like one of the few examples in the last couple of years of there is no borders. He's turned up in Wales, he's turned up in Midlands, he's turned up in Newcastle, he's turned up in freaking everywhere. So
yeah, he's a great example of someone that sort of broke out and is everywhere now. Yeah, that's a great example. Can't argue with that.
And Saxo as well for the other part. That's what I said. Saxo was the female version of that. She's smashing it over in the northwest. She's smashing it in Yorkshire now. She's been at Nikki's show. She's been at True Grit. She's at Planet. But she's still working at Infinite, TNT, Wrestle Island, all those places. So, yeah, you kind of, to me, that's a mark. You can tick it off the list when you kind of like, right, I'm outside of my county. Yeah.
But it's like, I say Yorkshire's the best territory. I think Welsh wrestling is the best it's ever been. The talent coming out of there is insane. I don't know what they're feeding these new wave guys down in Cardiff, but everyone that comes out of there is an animal. Like, you know, James Ellis and Leon, who I used to train with, they went over there, and now they're demons. They're the best on the circuit. Leon Cage is having matches with AEW guys every 5 seconds. You know, he's just had a WWE tryout. Yeah. So, like, whatever they're doing down at New Wave is crazy, but we're also doing it at PPW, because I think the people coming out of PPW are great. I think we're great. I think we're the next, as you said, we're the next generation, 100%.
Yeah. Can't argue with Leon Slater and Will Cruz or Mason Rook or whatever names are. G Money, Crowley, those guys. Rio. I mean, Rio, I'm just waiting to get signed up somewhere. You know, I've sort of said she's one of the examples of, mate, she's finished British wrestling, she's completed it.
Yeah, 100%. It wouldn't shock me if she got signed at some point.
Yeah. So anyway, dude, right, I'm gonna I'll let you let people know where they can find you. Do you want to shout out your Instagram and everywhere so they can keep an eye on what you're doing and prepare for those hype promos when they start coming out?
So you can find me at Blackmore Wrestler, and that is on, I think, on BoxOffice Blackmore on TikTok, but Blackmore Wrestler on Instagram, BoxOffice Blackmore, Blackmore Wrestler. I can't remember what handle I've got on TikTok. Which, follow the TikTok. It's not got as many followers as the Instagram, and I post the same stuff there. So if you want to see it twice, that's the place. And sometimes there's bonus stuff. Sometimes there's stuff I post there that I don't think is good enough for Instagram. So head over there. I've also got a YouTube page which I try and upload shorts on, but I kind of ignore it. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go. Obviously, we're going to tag you in the post when this episode gets uploaded onto YouTube. We'll post on Instagram to let people know that it's up. We will tag you in it. If you're not following the box office, get on the, jump on now. Say that you followed him while he was still responsive, while he still wants to talk to the fans, while he's still, eager to know the fans, while he still was, acceptable of, or before he gets so big and he just tells us all to do one, basically. But no, mate, it's obviously hit that follow button, keep your eyes peeled, see what the box office up to, see him with Sammy, see him by himself down the road, keep your eyes on the reels, on the footage, and dude, mate, honestly, dude, it's been an absolute genuine pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you very much for having me. I've loved this chat, and yet again, I really hope we do more down the line. Yes, awesome. I will hold you to that. Well, mate, now know that we need to do like a at the movies kind of thing as well. You can, we'll do, you can pick the film, I'll watch it, and you can just talk to me about it, tell me how great it was, and then I'll just sit there and be like, yeah, it's all good. Everybody else watching, thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share, comment, all the generic stuff we ask you to do. Keep your eyes peeled. I've got Sean only on Wednesday. I mentioned it before, we've got the Sledge Bro coming up soon. I'm still trying to sort out a date with G Money. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Hopefully, I'm trying to. I don't want to keep badgering him, but I'm messaging him like, he says he wants to do it. We're trying to sort out a date. He said about this Wednesday. I was like, oh crap, I've kind of already got something booked in now. So we're trying to sort of schedule something in, but he's a busy man. I know he's a busy man, so there's no. But if it's meant to be, it'll happen. We'll get him on. But yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. Lots of awesome stuff coming up. But yeah, thank you for watching, and remember, always work the left side. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.